it's always Karl. It's just the whole eclectic mix of books. I'm looking at Kant, I'm looking at Nabokov, total works of Evelyn Waugh. I mean, that's Karl, the man of everything. Hello Vogue, my name's Amanda Harlick. I'm one of Karl's dearest friends, and I'm here today to take you on a very, very special tour of his house outside Paris. So why don't you follow me? Here we are in the entrance hall of Karl's house. He always called it the villa outside Paris, or the Villa Louvcienne. Like his last couture collection, he put everything into this last house that he really, really loved. He always called this house a real version of himself. I mean, Karl created these spaces which made you feel like the best possible version of yourself, and Karl just did that. This is the dining room. Karl was a brilliant host. He loved the idea that the house would be full of friends and that he would have dinners here and everybody would spend the night. Karl really loved these chandeliers, and he has several here in this villa. For me, this is like a couture dress. I think they're astonishing. It's also like a piece of jewelry. Both things that Karl really, really adored. It looks like a jellyfish. I mean, a jellyfish skirt, which is also very couture. So here we are in the sitting room. Karl was about as varied as his houses, his worlds, his interiors, his very eclectic likes and dislikes. So you've got the intellectual side and the television. Karl loved to watch the news, so when we had dinner, the news was on all the time. It literally there for 3 hours, and we would have the same strap lines going underneath the breaking news. But he also liked to watch Dancing with the Stars, because being a champion ballroom dancer in his youth, he also really, really loved silent movies. So you have Dr. Mabuse, or you have the Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, all of which is very much in this house. And something else I'd like to show you is this wonderful Bruno Paul furniture, which Karl was obsessed by, reupholstered in Karl's fabulous colours, this sort of German expressionist blue. Bruno Paul was an architect as well as a furniture designer. I think Karl would love to have been an architect, and I think he would have loved to have designed houses. And here we are in the music room, or should I say the Suémar room, because Karl adored their furniture and all their designs. We have the Suémar piano. He always used to tell a story that he wanted to play the piano, but his mother said he had such ugly hands that he wasn't going to be allowed, and also the idea of him practicing would drive her insane. I mean, she was a very brilliant violinist, and a child, I think, possibly playing the wrong notes or something would be intolerable. It's quite bad. Karl loved the shape of pianos, and even though he really wanted to play them, he loved listening to piano music. I think he really wanted the music room to be a place where there could be concerts. I've just remembered, Steinway asked him to redesign the Steinway Grand, which he did. It was this extraordinary black and lacquer red and was used for photographs. And then after about a year, it was sort of used as a bar where people would put their drinks down. And I said to Karl, was he going to give it to a conservatoire, for example? He didn't say anything. The piano disappeared. And then one fine Easter morning, his two lovely furniture removers turned up at my house, and there was the grand piano, which is the most wonderful, wonderful present I could ever receive. Beautiful, 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 inspiring, incredible, life is so dull otherwise. And now I want to take you to a very, very special room. Follow me. This is, I think, Karl's recreation of his childhood room. But what's really important in this room is the Menzel. Here is the copy of the painting, actually, by Menzel, of King Frederick having lunch with Voltaire. And this really set Karl on his journey towards recreating an 18th century intellectual, extraordinary way of life. I mean, if anybody had a Versailles complex, it was Karl. And it's interesting that he kept this painting, which he saw as a 10-year-old, I think, and wanted for Christmas. He was so furious that his parents couldn't get it, that I think they went back into Hamburg to buy it on Christmas Eve or something. But I love the idea that this child, this precocious, sophisticated child, stood and saw this painting through the window of the shop and thought, that's how I want to live. So follow me and I'll take you upstairs. Coming. So here we are in this is Karl's floor. This is totally Karl's space. Everybody knows Karl loved books. He was a bookaholic, a bibliophile, a paper freak, an ink vampire. He had book fiends finding books for him all over the world, and everything about books, including their contents, Karl adored. He lived in this paper world, and he surrounded himself, yes, with these installations of books. But he knew where every single book was, even though it looked like total chaos. It's like a gift that he could see the abstract X-ray of things, almost like the essence of things. Just as his homes were flawlessly decorated, he himself was flawless. I mean, God knows how long it took him to get dressed, which might account for him being a bit late sometimes. But every single detail as to the width of the tie or the collage of belle perron that would appear on the actual tie itself, down to his mitaine, his fingerless gloves that he had made by Course in Paris, meant that he could somehow recede behind it. He could be this other person, this private person, and he's got this perfect uniform to present to the world, always. He sometimes called himself the Dolly, and he said that he was really pleased with the Dolly, this anima, this other person that was not him at all, but just how he would like to present himself to the world. Because as he was reproduced, or the Dolly was reproduced in teddy bears, you have a Stife teddy bear, a Ken doll, or these Tokidokis, actually it looked very like him. Call the Ken doll. So follow me and let's see where Karl sketched. This is where Karl would sketch. He would sketch really fast, really brilliantly. I mean, that is the discipline of, say, a musician or a cabinet maker. I mean, Karl sketched all the time, night and day. The huge waste paper bins everywhere because he would throw away as much as he kept. He used the Shemura eyeshadow, actually, for colours. And I can just remember any idea would come out as a visual and then he'd just throw it, he'd throw it across the room. And he also collected a lot of desks, and this is one of his favourite Zekeli desks. I mean, he was just obsessed with great design. It would make him really happy and would also tap into collections, jewellery, accessories himself. That's what was so exciting about Karl. He just never stopped looking and responding and learning and transfiguring and transforming. So thank you, Vogue, for being with us on this very special visit to Karl's house outside Paris. And I know Karl is very amused by my complete lack of historical knowledge. And if Karl was here today, he'd be so happy to see everybody, and he'd be wanting everybody to be enjoying the house just as he always hoped he would do. So thank you. Bye, Vogue. Bye, Vogue. Bye, Vogue.